this idea of old school, if we go back really old school to something that I've studied a lot, the Samurai Bushido Code, we can borrow some of that. And Bushido values, it's a profound way to see the world from a very well informed, very balanced masculine outlook. It's complex. The Japanese during the time of the samurai were very complex. It was contemporary, even though it was, you know, so many hundreds of years ago. They were also mindful, and they were committed in so many ways, and that's why the legacy is so strong. And that legacy of strength, honor, and meaningful connections, it's so strong. Even hundreds of years later, we're still studying it. So I think it's worthy of digging into. Let's look at some of these things. Okay, so there are five. There's five, and they can be memorized, and I think you should. But let's look at these things. So, rectitude, upholding integrity in modern life would be one way of looking at how we sort of interpret that. So, the samurai valued this rectitude by emphasizing the importance of their moral integrity. I think modern men can incorporate this value, staying true to their principles, and we've talked about this, whether personal, professional relationships or projects, upholding that moral integrity at all times, like the example of, not talking about someone behind their back, or being that person that's like, we really shouldn't do that. And I'm not talking about being a goody two shoes. I don't think the samurai were goody two shoes. I mean, they're known to party and do all kinds of stuff. They would also murder the crap out of you, but having that moral integrity to not cross those lines, and not only to just do that, but to do it to the point where other people know you won't cross that line, and you become that person that everyone looks up to and relies on because of that. Courage is another one of the Bushido values. Facing modern challenges boldly is one way to write that. It's fundamental in today's challenges. Modern, we can draw inspiration from samurai's courage in the way that they would fight to the death, right? The way they would embrace challenges, the risks they took, facing those things with resilience and bravery, okay? Not being a sniveling worrywart about absolutely everything. And I'll tell you a story here. I just had a conversation with someone about some of this stuff. They were talking about a problem they were having in the business they own with their partner, and they were worried their partner was doing something wrong. And they were like, but his partner, they've got a family, they got all this stuff going on, and maybe that's the reason. And I just remember thinking, that's all good, but like, you've got business and then you've got personal family stuff, and that person is mixing those things in the sense of almost hurting you with some mistakes and decisions that they're making. And remembering that person is making those decisions. And we have business on one side and we have personal life on the other side. And their expectation is that you're not going to bring in your personal life into the business, but they are. And you have to face that with the right amount of courage to not be afraid to have that conversation. And I think what I said was like, if you want to deal with the business side, deal with that, and then later have hey man, are you okay? Let's sit down and find out what's going on in your life. That person probably has some stuff going on, but you've got to be able to have those conversations. And I think we talk about modern issues. That's really what it is. It's not, the samurai we think of courage, they draw their sword and they go into war. That's one level. But I think it starts way earlier with my long-winded explanation of having a hard conversation with someone. I think it starts there. Because if you're there and you're afraid to have that hard conversation, listen, I am too most of the time. But if you're afraid to have it, if you're afraid to, when called upon to give your opinion, give your honest opinion, if you're afraid to do that, then how could you ever expect to pick up the sword and defend your family or your country when you need to, right? They go hand in hand. It's just something to think about. Benevolence is another one. Nurturing meaningful relationships. Okay, we've talked about this too. I can't underscore enough the importance of having compassion and empathy in others. Working to build deeper, more longer lasting friendships aligns with this. We, as modern men, we can prioritize meaningful connections, offering our support and working to understand where everyone is at around us. We can do that. The trick of that is also by doing that, we learn a lot about ourselves. But as another conversation I was having with a new student of mine, he was saying that he's made a life change in jobs or whatever, and one of the things he's done is he started reading a book. I think like he reads as many as he can. I don't think it's daily, but maybe he's reading that fast. I don't know, but let's just say he's reading a book a week, and he's done 30 or 40 books so far. And he just was telling me that the lessons he's gotten from doing that, from ingesting the books and learning and everything, he can see conversations that he has with others for what they are, and he can see where that person is with the things they're saying a lot clearer now that he's done all this work on himself through reading these books. And that's such a beautiful thing. And that's sort of a trick to this, is that by having compassion, empathy, and trying to understand others, we really do learn more about ourselves. And that's that self-awareness work that we need to be doing. You can do it by externalizing. I will tell you, in my martial arts journey, I don't really think I got good at the things in the martial arts that I'm good at, which is not many, but I don't think I really got good at those things until I started teaching others those things. I could do them well, but when I started teaching other people those things, the level of understanding that I had to develop is so deep, and it was just so awesome to know that through helping others, I was bettering myself. So I was sort of doing both at the same time, and it kind of excites me about it. I don't think that's selfish. I think it's just a fringe benefit. Okay, another one here, respect. If we want to apply this to the modern world, balancing technology and presence is a great way to break this down. This Bushido value of rei, R-E-I, respect, in Japanese also means to bow. In karate, we have a set of guiding principles, much like Bushido Code, but the number one is, do not forget that Karate Do begins and ends with rei. It begins and ends with bowing, literally, and it begins and ends with respect. So I think when it comes to technology, professionalism, listening, helping, being present, respecting other people's time, that's one way to literally build strong connection. It builds that high regard for others, the benevolence, which we just talked about. It's just having that empathy for other people to respect their time and effort and what they're doing, I think is very huge. And that's the thing about a samurai. They're very politely cut your head off, right? They're being very polite, but they're murdering you straight up, decapitating you. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean you're a pushover. It doesn't mean you won't defend yourself. It doesn't mean you won't argue or do whatever actions need to be done, but it just means that we'll do the things we need to do to make sure we're providing that respect. That's a very strong move. All right, the last one here, honor. Cultivating personal integrity. Synonymous, honor and personal integrity, I think. A modern man can uphold this Bushido value by being true to yourself, adhering to your standards, making decisions aligned with these principles. Doing that, working on that personal integrity at all times, really builds a sense of honor in you, in your day-to-day life. And I can't tell you the level of confidence that builds for you. It's just out of this world. It's a fundamental thing, a fundamental masculine thing to carry honor. And I want to close by explaining that I'm using the term masculine and man and stuff. It's not to be the antithesis of what's not masculine with feminine or female, not man. That's not the point. You can be a female, you can be a woman, or identify that way and have masculine traits and have these traits. If we look at this, the classic yin and yang thing, that's just where they fall. It's one or the other. It doesn't mean that one is less than the other or one is more than the other. That's not what we're talking about at all. So I hope this can help you. I hope this can start a conversation or start you on a path of self awareness / discovery. That would be great. If I reached one person, it would be great. Remember, we're here anytime. You can reach out through the website. I hope you come back for more. There's a ton of stuff here. So thank you for your time. I know you could spend it anywhere else on the internet, and you spend it here. I'm eternally grateful for that. And until next time, practice.